us again on our third day of our seminar and our conference. I need to get my screen right here. And sorry about that. There we go. So, like Lana said, my name is Tyler Emerick. I am the board president of WASS. This is my third year serving as president of the board, and I just love being involved with my colleagues from around the state of Wisconsin, supporting WASS and our mission of legislative action, education, and networking among our members. I am also the president of Slurry Staffing Solutions. We are an independent general staffing firm with 5 offices throughout the great state of Wisconsin. And so today I am presenting really a topic from the viewpoint of an independent Midwest staffing firm, talking about this season we're in and what we can do to prepare ourselves as we head out of this season. So my premise today, as we talk, there's a few items that I assume, and I hope all our listeners assume as well. I assume that we are all experiencing this season differently, both personally and professionally. Some of us work with very large firms. Some of us work with very, very small firms. Some of our firms have seen business dry up almost completely, and the devastation is awful that you have experienced over the past 2 months. There are other firms who their market, the sectors they serve, is going strong, and they have been impacted very little by all the upheaval going on around us. So we all come in with different perspectives and different positions that we're in right now in the middle of this season. But having said that, I believe the reality is all of us, in one way or another, have had to make changes to how we operate. All of us, big or small, have had to make decisions on things big and small on how we do our business, how we run our desks. And I guess the third premise I have here is we all would benefit by using this season of upheaval to reevaluate, change, and reinvent our operations for the better. Again, whether the impact so far to you has been gigantic or very small, there are still things you can do to benefit from what has happened to all of us through the COVID-19 pandemic. So, what I am offering this morning, I am really offering my perspective from the desk at an independent Midwest staffing firm, like many of you are as well. I'm offering a very simple call to action. I don't have a whole lot of solutions or exact plans that you can roll out or magic bullets, but I am offering a very simple call to action. And I'm offering a very easy and doable plan on how to get that call to action done. What are some simple steps we can take to move forward in this season to really reinvent our firms and stay ahead of the curve and out in front? So let's begin. And really, my presentation begins with the Grinch. I think hopefully most of you are familiar with Dr. Seuss's classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, my 5-year-old son loves that story, loves the book, loves the TV special, and he wants me to read that to him all the time, year-round. I am happy to read How the Grinch Stole Christmas between Thanksgiving and Christmas. the holiday season, that is absolutely, I am on board. I am in the holiday spirit, and I love reading the story to him. I love watching the TV special with all my children. But I really don't want to be reading holiday books, Christmas books, in March or July or September. That is just not something I'm interested in. But my 5-year-old will nevertheless continue to dig that book out of the stack of books and ask me to read it from time to time throughout the year, whether there's snow on the ground or it's 85 degrees out. Frankly, as I read that book in just a couple weeks ago, I came to the realization that, frankly, what we have here, actually, first, just to clarify, for anybody that doesn't know how the Grinch stole Christmas and what that story is about, I want to remind you the Grinch had a heart 2 sizes too small, and the Grinch essentially stole Christmas from Whoville. The Grinch took all the decorations, all the presents, all the trees, and everything out of Whoville. He stole it all from the little Whos. So, with that in mind, I had a realization just the other week as I read the story to my 5-year-old. I realized that COVID-19, the coronavirus, really is like the Grinch. If there was a cartoon character that was to play the part of COVID-19 in a made-for-TV movie about this pandemic, it would be the Grinch. So what do I mean by that? Well, the Grinch stole Christmas and everything from the Whos, and COVID-19 really has stolen so much from all of us. COVID-19 stole the health and well-being of many of us and our families, our loved ones. COVID-19 stole livelihoods. COVID-19 stole community and connections. COVID-19 stole spring break. COVID-19 stole graduations and birthday parties. COVID-19 has stolen weddings and funerals, and COVID-19 stole our sense of security. Now, in our businesses, COVID-19 stole a strong economy. We all were experiencing a great, very strong economy and a strong demand for our business. COVID-19 stole a great start to the year. I know my firm, we were off to a record start in 2020. Quarter 1 was fantastic for us, and I believe that is similar with many, many firms here listening today. We had a great start to the year. COVID-19 stole a long list of sales prospects and a great easy sell and sales routine. Greg Dorshing talked quite a bit about that on Wednesday. We've had it easy on the sales side of things for quite some time, and COVID-19 stole that from us. COVID-19 stole a big backlog of job orders to fill. Many of our clients I know we couldn't get them people fast enough. And I know, again, many people experience this as well. There were always more job orders than candidates available to fill those orders. And frankly, COVID-19 stole a sunny outlook for the rest of the year. Our projections, our goals, all that, again, for my firm is out the window as we have to sit back, assess, and kind of see how things play out. We can't rely on the numbers that we were projecting for the year. So I assume many of these items ring true to many of you. But I believe the silver lining, if there is one through all of this, the good news, the sliver of hope, is that frankly, COVID-19 has given us one gift. COVID-19 has stolen much, but one thing COVID-19 did give us is the gift of forcing us to do things differently. We have simply been forced to change how we operate over the past 2 months. So now let me give you a little role-playing example of what I mean by that. I'm going to show you a little sample exchange. So somebody might have asked me months ago, why are you doing it that way? So my pre-COVID-19 answer would have been something along the lines of, well, because that's how we've always done it. Or it's something that's always worked. Or, well, we do it that way because it has been working okay. Or we do it that way because we haven't had time to look at changing. Or we're doing it that way because we're focusing on other things. Now, somebody might ask me, why are you doing it that way? My current answer would be something along the lines of, I don't know. We scrambled to figure something out. Or, well, we were forced to quickly make something work, and this is what we came up with. Or this is what seemed to make do for now. So with that, in the future, if somebody asks why you're doing it that way, my answer, I hope, will be something along the lines of, because after thoughtful review, research, and evaluation, it was determined to be the best way for us. So my hope is to move from, that's how it's always been, we haven't focused on it, to a place of, because we've reviewed, researched, and determined that it is the best solution for us. So I guess what I want to do is take a step back here and ask, what is it? I've been talking a lot about it, and I've tried to keep it broad because, frankly, it can refer to anything involved in your business. Typically, lots of times, especially at these seminars and webinars and our conferences, we talk about new sales activities, new marketing, new ways to recruit and connect with candidates, and all those are so valuable, and we have had to revise all those methods over the past 2 months. But frankly, over the past 2 months, we have also had to look at changing many, many more of our operations that we typically do. We have had to look at a long list of things that are mundane, minor, and often overlooked, frankly, we've had to revise them to make do in this season of upheaval. So this is a short list of some items I've come up with, and I know that many people on this webinar can list many, many more. The phone system. Are you utilizing your phone system the same way today as you did 2 months ago? Your software system. Did you find some of your software no longer worked the way you wanted it to when everybody was working remotely? Computer system. Does everybody have the tools they need to do their job, again, whether it's at their desk or at their kitchen table? Have you had to revise your office hours? Have you been open at all? Have you had to just open for a portion in the morning or the afternoon? Email organization. Is there a new system in how you organize your email folders and your email signature? Desk organization. All of us have our desks set up in a certain way, and many of us have had to set up a temporary solution at our home office, in our living rooms, dining rooms. And that maybe has caused us to rethink how we have things placed, what we have at our desks, and what we need to do our job. Our daily schedule, again, so much of this has gone out the window. What you do at 8 to 10 a.m. every morning 2 months ago might be different than what you're doing today. Our timekeeping system and how we stay in touch with all our associates and get time in and week out. Has that changed over the past 2 months? Have you had to scramble to ensure that your payroll and timekeeping system and all your routines and procedures there are working properly. Office supplies, something as simple as that. Have you had to rethink what you need, how you order it, and how you distribute it to your team? New hire paperwork. How are you getting your new hire paperwork and onboarding documents to your associates going out on assignment? Have you had to redo what is done online and what is done on paper? That is a huge item. I know for us, that's a big one that we've had to change over the past 2 months. Lots of what we did previously was electronic and was online, but we didn't, frankly, take the effort to optimize that and put it all electronically, because we always had people coming into our offices to finish up, and we didn't have to worry about the number of people in our office or the time it took. So it was something put to the side. Now we've had to scramble to redo all of that and make it completely electronic. Drug screening process, again, how many people have changed the way they do drug screening over the past 2 months? Document management, have you been able to find all the documents and files that you need to do your job working remotely? Is your firm on the cloud? Does everyone have access to all the files, forms, and documents they need to do their jobs? How do you manage version control of all the documents your team are working on? Office space, staff meetings and office space. Again, are you doing things the same way you did them before? Do you need to revise the tools you're using to stay connected with your team and conduct your meetings? Do you need the office space you needed 2 months ago? Will you need that in the future? Is your office too big, too small? Does it work in a post-COVID environment? Why is your office layout? How does the layout of your office work in a post-COVID world? Do you need more space to social distance? Is your team set up to have the proper barriers and spacing involved when doing interviews or new hire work? Is your internal team spread out enough where they can conduct their business safely and appropriately? Is your website set up, frankly, to handle more traffic and more items done online in a post-COVID world? Interview process. Have you switched how you conduct your in-person interviews or on the phone or via video? Office equipment. Is your copier and scanner equipment working the same way in your office now that you have people working remotely? Or do you need to revisit all your office equipment and how that is handled and utilized? And how do you communicate with your team? And what kind of duties and responsibilities does everyone have? In a season like this, are team members taking on different duties and responsibilities? And are those, frankly, working out better? The list can go on and on. You can name it. The idea here is that we have been forced to revisit and look at many items that oftentimes get overlooked. We ignore updating many of these items for a wide range of reasons. And frankly, COVID-19 is the only reason we've had to make changes to many of these items. We ignore them because we think it's just not important what copier equipment we use. We ignore it because, you know what, it doesn't generate revenue to focus on the type of document management system we utilize. It's working fine as is a great answer I know I've used many times in the past. There's no time to deal with it. Many of us are very focused on either sales or recruiting or both, and we push aside any sort of time involved in dealing with some of our other operational items. And frankly, changing requires too much work. It's easier just to keep going the way things are. And you know what? The team is used to the way it is. Many of us are used to doing things a certain way, and we don't want to change. So it is easier not to change. But the reality is reinventing your operations is critical for navigating this current season. We've all experienced that. We've had to. It's been critical to keep the lights on and to keep our businesses going. It is also critical, I believe, to set ourselves up for success in the future. Changing it can save money. Changing it can save time. Changing your systems, changing your processes can save time and money. It can simplify a lot of the procedures you are doing. It can change, it can reduce errors and waste, it can increase productivity, and it can make tasks more enjoyable. Think about all the mundane tasks that we all dislike or hate doing every day. Frankly, if there was a little time and energy put into evaluating those tasks, there might be a great way to reinvent them to make them more enjoyable for everyone. And frankly, changing can position you better, and it can lay the groundwork for growth. So, how do we take this gift of forced changes to our operations and turn it into a season of reinvention? Well, number one, I believe we need to avoid the mindset of waiting for things to get back to normal. We simply are not going there. There is no normal that we're going back to. Things will be different. Nobody knows quite what that means. Lana just talked about all the big tech firms saying remote work is the new norm. There are so many unknowns of what things will look like in 3, 6, 9 months from now, a year from now. But one thing that is certain is things will be different. We can't have the mindset that all these changes we've done to our businesses are just temporary and things will get back to the way they were. So we also need to solidify the changes that are working great. Many of the things we've done to scramble to keep things going, frankly, are working out really well for us. I know for me and my firm, many of the things we've implemented are working out great. And there would be no reason, even if everything was back to normal and we had normal office hours and operations and candidates in and out of our offices, there are still some things that we would want to keep doing with our operations that are working out great in this season. And frankly, there's some things that we're making do and we want to change once things settle down or we figure out what's going ahead for the future. But we need to be proactive in evaluating all aspects of our business in this season. So here it is. How do we do that? Well, I have a to-do list that I want to share that I encourage everybody to follow to sort through how we can get through this season and really turn it into a season of reinvention. So the first item on my to-do list is, well, make a list. Next item on my list is to make some time. Next item is to make it a party. And fourth and finally is to make a mistake. Those 4 simple things I encourage you to do in this season. So first up, make a list. I encourage you to make a list of everything you've had to change over the past 2 months. Oftentimes we can forget all the little things that we're doing in our operations. Write it down. Keep a list. What have you had to change and how? Also, make a list of everything you did not have to change over the past 2 months. What has stayed the same? Let's make sure we're clear in our operations what we're doing differently and what's the same. And third, I would encourage you to make a wish list of everything that did not change but you want to change in the future. Maybe some of these items you didn't have to change, but frankly, if you take time to look at them, they should change. And it would be better for your business in the future if they change. Make that wish list. Second on the to-do list is to make some time. You got to make it a priority to spend time reviewing those lists that you just made. What items are working better now? What items worked better the way they were before. Look at each and every item and spend time thinking about and analyzing what's on your list, what seems to be popping up more than others. Make it a priority to spend time researching solutions, products, and ideas. The more educated you are, the better prepared you will be to make a decision. You might know that, hey, this is working for now, but you might not have any idea what the options are down the road to make it work better. Unless you spend time researching, you're never going to find those answers. And make it a priority to spend time thinking. Oftentimes we can be way too busy to do anything other than the very urgent issues at hand on our desk. But if we can take time and step back to think about all our operations, where the pain points are, what are the feasible solutions involved in some of these items, we will be better off for it. So third on the to-do list is to make it a party. Get other people involved in reviewing things. Get everybody on your team to look at your lists that you've developed and get input, get ideas on what's working well and what needs to be adjusted. Multiple viewpoints are critical in developing well-rounded solutions and implementing the best changes. Everybody is experiencing this differently, as I said before. Even within your own team, some people are thriving and some are struggling in this season, and could be for a wide variety of reasons. But some people are going to have ideas on how to fix one operational item, while others will have an idea on how to fix something different. So it's all about getting those multiple viewpoints and discussing it. Brainstorming ideas with a group usually produces great ideas, and frankly, it usually provides even better questions. So the more you can brainstorm and get ideas and see different options from different people on what products they like, what tools they like, the better off your team will be moving forward. And frankly, if you're anything like me, somebody probably has a better idea than you. I can make all the lists in the world and have all the ideas that I have on what I want to do, but frankly, until I have somebody else look at them, I'm missing something else. I don't see that better idea. And finally, the to-do list in this season is to make a mistake. The only real way to see if changing something works is to try it out. We are all trying out many different systems right now, and some of them aren't going to work. Some of them are going to be a mistake. A new product or online solution maybe we signed our team up for isn't working out as well as we would like, or it's causing other issues in our firm. That's okay. The idea is you've tried it, you know it's a mistake and it's not working, let's move on to the next thing. Frankly, oftentimes the best solution is not found right away, but developed over time through failures, adjustments, and pivoting. Lots of the solutions we have all made and developed over the past 2 months maybe are great for now, but they're not going to work long term, and they need to be tweaked. They need to be adjusted. Additional steps need to be in place, or we need to look at maybe different equipment or a different software system. And frankly, while mistakes may cost time or money, they often put you in a better position than if you had not done anything at all. All of us who have been nimble enough to work remotely, adjust our onboarding, adjust our offices, and make all these changes very rapidly, we're all in a better position than those who have not changed anything and simply shut their doors or, again, just try to wait it out. So be bold, be courageous to try new things and know that making a mistake is okay. So frankly, this all boils down to what will your business your branch, your desk look like at the end of this season? We have two paths to take in the midst of this storm we are in. We can just try to make do until things get back to normal. And as I said before, I don't believe that's frankly an option, and things will not get back to normal. Or you can take path B. We can proactively reinvent our operations to come out of this season more efficient, more focused, and better than ever. So with that, I want to leave us with a reminder that even the Grinch reinvented himself at the end of the story. So if the Grinch can do it, I know all of us can do it. So I encourage everybody to take this season to really evaluate and reinvent all aspects of your operation. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Thanks for listening through my session. With that, we are ended, and we are going to take a quick break, and Lana Johnson will be back at 10 o'clock for her session on the state of staffing. Thank you.